Remember when I said the balance of power in Class 4A and Class 6A girls shifted last season? I remember.
The Hunter.sheppard podcast. Bringing you the lowdown on everything OK Preps since 2017. And now here's the man of the hour.
What is up, my fellow viewers? Coming at you with another episode of the podcast this week. And, yeah, you heard my intro there, referencing what I said last season. And what that reference was to, quite literally, Class 4A and 6A girls, I would make the argument it is a wide open battleground, just like Class 2A is. Like, you thought Class 2A was a battleground? Take a look at Class 4A and 6A. And I'm going to break that down for you in today's episode. So, we'll start with Class 4A. So, right now, and most everyone out west is agreeing with me, but I think the favorite is going to be Tuttle. And right now, it's not even close, because they bring back 4 starters off last season's team. They only lost 1 starter. They also, I tell you right now, their front court, which was the best defensive front court I ever seen in the state, of Hagley Perriman and Landry Allen, they bring those 2 back, and I tell you right now, those 2 are the best defenders I've ever seen. And not just down low either. I can't remember which game it was, but I seen one of them blocked like 3 3-pointers in a row. One of them I seen was in the Kingfisher game last year. And then they bring back their backcourt of Maddie Serber and Allie Real. Now I will say this. Allie Real is one girl where, regardless, she could have 2 defenders on her. She's still going to drain the 3. I seen this firsthand in the state tournament. And then again in the Kingfisher game when I covered that regular season. And then Maggie Serber is one of those hybrid guard forward type players that she's good in the clutch. Really, really good defender on top of that. If I remember right, I believe Maggie Serber was the one that hit the clutch free throws in the Hall & Hall game, if I remember right. But I know, like I said, that back court and that front court is going to be absolutely loaded. And, like I said, their post defense their post defense was definitely number 1 among post defenses. And I definitely kind of want to do a ranking of defenses, but we'll have to wait till later on down the road before I do that. Get more like analytical data and whatnot. So the second favorite will be Klassen. Now, I have heard rumors from a few OKC people and a few people out west that they think Klassen will be Class 5A next season. And while I could see that just from where they're at on the ADM up in the higher parts of 4A, regardless of which class they'll be in, they are still going to be a legitimate favorite for the title, regardless whether they're in 4A or 5A. I don't remember who was who, but I can tell you right now, I know they bring back their best player who was out with an injury. I don't remember a name, but I believe she was the post player. Regardless, and they had a high-scoring offense as well. I believe it was their district game against Douglas. They had like 135 points, I think. Now they did not have much depth last year, but if you had ever seen them play, like their offense and defense, their scoring and their lockdown defense make them a scary team to go up against. So that's why I say, and Klassen and Tuttle, those are two things they have in common. Their scoring and their defense. Which I know for a fact, that's why those two will be the favorites in 4A. But Tuttle right now is the overwhelming favorite. Now, there are a few other teams I do think we should keep an eye on this year. First one being Kingfisher. If I remember right, they bring back most everyone. And I've said on many times before, I actually really liked their new coaching hire in Taylor Cooper. I think it's her first head coaching gig, but regardless, she's got like the experience, and she was an assistant at a couple really good 5A, 6A teams the past couple seasons. One being at Bishop McGinnis, and the other at Edmond Santa Fe, which was most recent, I believe. And I know Kingfisher's got a couple guards that can flat out shoot it. Kingfisher will actually be a team I'll get to watch this season in the Mustang Holiday Classic, so I'll be able to watch them for sure. Weatherford, I think, is another team you can't count out. Yes, I get they did lose Ashlyn Sage and like 3 other seniors, but they bring both the Hoffman sisters back, Jordan and Addie, and I tell you right now, Addie can shoot lights out, and Jordan is one of those that can get the steal, and she's gone. So that's why I say they bring back their backcourt duo. And then, lastly, I think Anadarko is another team you can't count out either. Now, I know they lost a few seniors, and their head coach went and took the ORU job, but their new hire in Kirk Graham is a proven winner. I don't remember where all he's won titles at, but I know he won some titles when he was coaching boys at Carnegie. So, I will say this. Anadarko and Weatherford, I think, are two sleepers right now that no one is really talking about. And then Kingfisher will be another interesting one to watch. That is for sure. Now, getting to Class 6A. Now, right, I have 3 different title favorites in 6A. And like I said, 6A is really a definite battleground, especially because it's such a smaller class. Look, because, Class 5A and 6A consist of 32 teams. Anyway, but yeah, as far as Class 6A goes, there are 3 teams, I believe, that will be the favorites to win the title. Let's get right into this. So, right now, I think the early favorite right now, it's got to be Edmond North. Think about this. They didn't lose any starters. The one senior they did lose, I believe, that came off the bench. Let's not forget, they bring back their big 3, which consisted of Lacey Steele, Elle Paparonis, and then Tony Paparonis. And then you bring back 2 other players in Ataya Casas and Allison Heathcock. And then you bring back a bench player in Kate Melton. But now, what I think will be interesting to see, most of the time, they'll go with Allison Heathcock at the center position, but despite they start Tony Paparonis at guard, I remember in a game against Weatherford last year, they had her at center at one point in the third quarter because I remember she was matched up on Ashlyn Sage a couple times. And so that's why I say I would watch that specific rotation closely. And I say this, they have possibly one of the highest scoring offenses I've seen because, like, you get Lacey Steele open from anywhere and she's going to drill that shot. Same with El Paparonis. Now, as far as Tony Paparonis, while she's more of a drive and kick and then drive in and get fouled, or the type to set the pick, regardless, she's one that can do a little bit of everything. Like I said, I seen this Lady Huskies team play in the Mustang Holiday Classic last season. I'll actually get the chance to watch them again this year, too. Well, and if they're still in the Bixby tournament, I'll probably try to go up to that. Depends on what I'm doing that week. But I think I could probably make it. But the Mustang Holiday Classic, I know I'll see them playing it. Which, if any of my listeners out that way remember, you might remember I did play-by-play of a matchup between Mustang and Edmond North because, well, at the time, the Rollins sisters was at Mustang, and that was the matchup to watch. The Rollins sisters against the Paparonis sisters. That was the matchup to watch. We'll get into that matchup a little bit later on one of my other title picks, but like I said, Lady Huskies, I think, emerge as the early favorite. And I like what Pete Paparonis does out there. I really do. Great defensive mind, runs a very good offense. Like I said, they had one of the highest scoring offenses in 6A alone last year. Along with, if I remember, them and Norman both had the highest scoring offenses last year. And I don't remember who won the game, but I know when they played each other regular season, it was a close matchup. Getting into my next title pick, I have Bixby as my second title pick. Now, I will admit, it was a surprise team last year because there was a lot of people that did not see them getting to the title game, but I told someone they was my dark horse pick to make it to the title game, and they made it to the title game. I don't remember how many seniors they lost altogether. I know they lost one because I seen one senior, one of their players at All-State last month. But they bring back a majority of everyone. Like Edmond North, their offense is one of the best in the state, especially when you got a top 5 center like Meredith Mays. And then you bring back your two wing shooters in Gracie Wernley and Alyssa Nielsen. Now, I will say this. When I watched Bixby in the Mustang Holiday Classic last season, I noticed Alyssa Nielsen was one of those types of players that could literally play anywhere. So, basically, it's like, I say she was kind of like Tony Paparonis at Edmond North in a little way. She could play all 5 positions. Had the height and build to do it. And sorry about the TV in the background if anyone heard that. remote fell off, and I don't know what that was. But back on topic. So yeah, that's what you got. That's what I like to see in a positionless player. Someone that can rotate out between all 5 positions, handles the ball really well, can shoot, can do a little bit of everything. Of course, like I said, you also got Gracie Wormley as well. One of the best shooters I've seen. But I know, getting back to before, I know Meredith Mays had to be one of the most unstoppable centers I've ever seen, because I know for a fact if she drove in, she would find a way to create the contact, get fouled, and get the and one. And like I said, top 5 center. That is for sure. And I think they will be the second favorite this year. Now, getting on to my third favorite, and I honestly think this is a team not very many are talking about right now, and that is Norman. Yes, I get they lost Chante Embry and they lost Kelby Washington, but you not only bring back Michaela Parks, but you also got her sister Keely Parks coming up. I believe she is a freshman. Yeah, she is just a freshman. And she's already got D1 offers. She's legit. And they got 2 transfers from Mustang that just happen to be Jackie and Jordan Rollins. And you know, I said this to a couple people out in the city. I'll say it again. I think the Lady Tigers are quietly assembling a super team. Because you see their roster right now, and that is a legitimate title contender as it is. Because, I mean, like I said, you have both the Parks sisters, and you got both the Rollins sisters, so you got 2 duos within the team on the same roster. And I don't know what their offense will look like since they got a new coach, but their new coach was the assistant last year, and I believe he coached that Trey Young AAU team, which I know is really, really good, because I've seen some of the players tweet out some highlights from their AAU games, and that team was legit. But I think they're definitely one of the 3 title favorites that not really many are talking about right now. And now, getting back to what I was saying earlier about the whole Rollins versus Paparonis matchup. So I seen that when Mustang played Edmond North last year, but we'll see that when Norman plays them this year. Oh man, if anyone from Norman or Edmond North is listening, you might have seen my tweet saying someone's got to let me know when the 2 teams play. Because that matchup of the Rollins sisters and the Paparonis sisters will be very interesting. Like I said, I think I still have the play-by-play archive on my channel. I know I still do. You know, I got to telling a lot of my guys this. If I would have had the archive from that game, I could have made highlights of that game, because that was one of the greatest games I seen last season. And in my first year of covering that tournament as well. So those are my 3 title favorites. I do have one team that is definitely flying under the radar right now that I think is a definite title contender. And that is Mustang. Well, I'm aware they don't have the two Rollins girls anymore. They still bring back 3 of their starters in Talia Pogai, Carly Johnson, and Randy Harding. Plus, you bring back 2 bench players in London Foreman and Kate Nehus, so you're still going to be loaded. I know Talia Pogai was kind of another positionless player I seen last year. Had the strength and build of a center, but could rotate out between all the positions. I think she started at the 3, but I'm not sure. I'm sure one of my Mustang listeners could correct me if I'm wrong. And then that backcourt alone is going to be loaded. 'Cause like I said, you got Carly Johnson and Randy Harding alone in the backcourt. Now, as far as the bench, like I said, London Foreman's one of those girls, like, small but quick, and she reminds me a lot of Jordan Hoffman from Weatherford. If she gets on that fast break, she's gone. She'll run that down there. In fact, I seen her do that a couple times last year. And she can shoot the ball from deep and has even came in clutch a couple times. Because if I remember right, when they played Anadarko last year, I think she was the one that hit the clutch free throws. And then while Kate Nehus is more of a passing and defending type guard, her defense is one of the best I've seen in Class 6A. And one of the best passers I've seen as well. So, that's why I say they will still be loaded this year. And I look forward to watching them when I go back out there for the Mustang Holiday Classic this upcoming year. Well, that's going to about do it for this week, for this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will catch you guys in the next episode.